Hey everybody, I'm Pierre Piscitelli. Happy New Year to all of you, and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to learn Michael McDonald's masterpiece, I Keep Forgettin'. You can probably see he's hanging out there in the background. That was one of my Christmas presents, actually. I haven't read it yet, but I bet that some of you have. So let me know in the comments if any of you have read the book. As usual, my arrangement of this song, which you will hopefully find to be clean and easy to follow, is available on musicnotes.com for those who do read music and want to purchase. Link is in the description. Otherwise, just follow me here and I'll guide you through all of the sections. Let's start with the introduction, which musically speaking is the same as the chorus. So if you can learn these 4 bars with me, you're going to get very far. So starting with the right hand, we're going to play an E minor 7, inverted a little bit. It looks like this, B, D, E, G. So just get comfortable with that. I like 1, 2, 3, 5, all white keys. And you hold that for quite a while. It's about 6 beats. So a whole note plus a half note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you're going to hit it one more time. And then just a plain D major triad, D, F sharp, A, and then back to our original chord. You'll see later that this chord is no longer called E minor 7 because the left hand root changes the identity of the chord. So once we add left hand, that'll make more sense. But right hand wise, it's the same. So what we just did, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's really only 2 different shapes. Now let me show you where things get a little bit trickier. There are a lot of chords and they move quickly. So let's go through them. Here's the first one, G, B, E. Let's go down, F sharp, A, D. Down again, E, G, C. Now keep the E with the thumb, but the upper 2 fingers are going to move a bit. So you have E, A, C sharp. One more, A, D, F sharp. And then back to your starting chord, which was B, D, E, G. First thing I taught you. So all of that slowly. Even slower. From the beginning at kind of a slow, moderate tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. No doubt those quick chords, those 8th notes, are going to be a bit of a challenge. A lot of different positions there, so take your time and rewatch that passage. Now moving on, you're basically going to do the same thing again. Let me show you, and there is a little difference that you might catch. If not, I will explain it. So here's the second half. Did you notice it? Right in that passage with the quick moving 8th note chords. The chords were the same, but they were inverted a little bit differently. The notes were reordered. This happens all over the tune. You can hear that the voicings are being rearranged in different ways, so I think it's important that you don't get addicted to playing the chords only one way. It does sound nice when you invert them once in a while. So instead of doing this like the first time, I did this. And it was actually just the first 3 chords that were different. Second time, we just flipped the voicing upside down. So let me take you through it. Second half of the intro, bars 5 through 8. Start the same, count to 6, 5, 6. That's all the same, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go with the new chords. All you have to do is take what you already have, B, D, E, G, remove the D, remove the index finger, and you have B, E, G. Come down, A, D, F sharp, down again, G, C, E, and the rest is the same. E, A, C sharp, A, D, F sharp, back home. I'm going to play all 8 bars of right hand. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go, that's your intro and your chorus. Now as for the left hand, you can be simple and just play the roots of the chords, which I'll teach you. Or if you're not playing this with a band, if you're playing by yourself or maybe accompanying a vocalist just as a piano player, you might want to play the bass line. So let me show you what that would mean. If we just played the roots of the chords, just basic whole notes just sitting there, it would be something like this. Nothing wrong with it. It completes the chords, and if you're playing in a band, that's what you want to do. If you are the bass player, like I said before, if there's no bass player and you have to provide some kind of a groove, you might want to copy the bass line and do something more like this. A little bit funkier. Right? So very different approaches. Obviously, the second one is harder. Let's start with the easy way, which is just playing the roots of the chords. So that would naturally start with holding an E with your left hand, and then a C. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. C, B, A, F sharp, B, back to E. And you do the same thing for the next 4 bars. C, C, B, A, F sharp, B, E. With both hands. So if I were in a band, that's what I would do. And I would play the roots kind of quietly so that I don't piss off the bass player. Or maybe not play them at all, which is a whole other discussion. But that's the easy approach. And now, getting into something a little bit more fun, but a little bit more challenging, you can do this. So let's talk about that for a moment. So we start with E again, and then you hit the E quickly, and then another long attack. So it's long, short, long, like this. Hear that? Long, short, long. And then you go up an octave, D, E, very quickly as 16th notes, and then back to E 3 times. So that sounds like this. One more time. Once you do that, you play a B for an 8th note, and then a C with the long, short, long rhythm again. And the good news is the rest of it is the same as what I taught you earlier in the easy version. C, B, A, F sharp, B, E. Because what else are you going to do there? The chords move so quickly, and those roots thus move quickly. So that's all you can really do. And then we will repeat that. E, E, E. Same thing as before. Let me play this left hand one more time, a bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now both hands, slowly. 2, 3, 4. Now everything's together. So that's the hard way of playing it. You choose what works best for you. Like I mentioned earlier, the chorus will be the same as the intro, same music, except for a little transition at the end that gets us into the verse. Right? That part. You need a little bit of a tweak at the end of the chorus. But 95% of it is the same. Also, I should mention that the quick eighth note chords that I showed you in the intro, which are different each time. Remember that? They happen twice and they're inverted a little bit differently. First time, second time. I'm from now on going to stick with the way I played them the second time. I just prefer that inversion. It feels more organic, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They are the same chords. So just be aware of that. Bearing that in mind, let me play the chorus for you, 8 bars, and then we'll talk about what happens at the end of it. See the difference there at the end? So starting with this, the last 2 bars, that's the same. Now what you're going to do is hit C in the left hand twice, and then A, and in the right hand G, C, E, and now left hand D, and then the same G, C, E in the right hand. So they're offset by an eighth note. Left, right, left, right. The end of the chorus was this. One more time. And now we're ready to go into G major, into the verse. Let's start with the left hand, which could potentially be an easier part if we just play the roots, like I mentioned earlier, in the other left hand parts, or it can get tricky if you decide to be funky. I'm going to show you the easy and the hard ways, and then I'll show you how I would play it. Here we go. Here's the easy way. Just start with a nice low G, as low as you can go on your keyboard, and hold it for 7 beats. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go to G sharp, and then A for 4 beats, 3, 4, and then D for 4 beats, 2, 3, 4. Same thing again, G for 7 beats, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. G sharp, A, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4. So that would work just fine. If you want to be a little funkier, more syncopated, more interesting, you can do this. And just repeat that again for the next 4 bars. So let me show you what's going on there. G in octave. So pinky on a low G, thumb on a high G. And here's the rhythm. So try to digest that by ear. 3, 4, 1, 2. Mathematically, it's a quarter note, one beat, and then 3 16th notes, or 3/4 of a quarter note of rest, and then a very quick 16th note, leading you to the next big quarter note. So quarter, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those 1, 2, 3s, those are 16th notes. I'm doubtful that anybody's going to do the math, unless you really can't feel this or hear it, which is okay. I think most people, though, are going to do it by feel and just by hearing it. So again. Now let's go to G sharp, just as a quarter note, and then A with that same pattern. So low A, high A, low A. And now pay attention to this. We move up to D. That's a little more complex. So high D to a low D, again high to low, and then quickly high low again. And then I scrunch my hand like this, and I play E D quickly. Why? Because now my pinky's available to start the whole thing over on G. You just do the same thing. A, D. This time, though, we'll just sit there on D at the very end of the verse. We're not going to go. Right? No need to do that at the end. So let me play all of the left hand slowly, just so you can hear it. Starts over. And then just sit there at the end. Let's talk about right hand now. Here's what the right hand looks like. Almost the same thing twice, except for that last chord that I just played. That's the one difference between those two 4-bar sections. The first thing to note is that there is no chord on beat 1. So beat 1 is a rest. So now on beat 2, you start with D, G, B. It's a G major chord, like that. And now something kind of interesting. We're going to a D major chord, D, F sharp, A, but you have to play this grace note that makes it a little bit funky, a little bit bluesy. If you don't do it, it just sounds too vanilla. So what that would look like is actually landing on D, E, and A, and then letting your second finger flick almost immediately to an F sharp with the third finger. Just practice that. D, E, A, and then 3 is ready right away to take over with F sharp. So back to back. If you don't do it, not as interesting. The third chord is the very first chord from the beginning. Remember this one? B, D, E, G. Now just retrace your steps. D major, you don't have to do the grace note this time. And G major. So that looks like this. Again. Now we're going to go backwards. Play the G chord again. D, and then B, D, E, G, like the beginning of the song. New chord now, this is G sharp diminished 7. I love this chord, B, D, F, G sharp, or A flat. And then we're gonna go on, rest on the next bar, C major triad, C, E, G. Keep the pinky on G, move these two fingers down to B and D. back to C major, and hit it 3 times. And now we're going to go between this C chord and this G chord that we did earlier a little bit quickly, like this. Watch again. C, C, G, C, C. So very slowly, all of those chords rest. Rest. Next 4 bars, let's do the exact same thing again. Rest. Rest. Notice at the end, I did something different. Instead of going, I did this. Just moved up to D, F sharp, A on the last chord. That's it. Let me show you both hands together if you're just playing simple roots, like I showed you earlier, and then I'll show you slowly how to put both hands together with the trickier left hand part that has the syncopation. So here's the easy way. Again. Here's the change to D. It'll work well if you're playing with a band. Now, if you want to be funky, here's the advanced left hand. I'll do this very slowly because the best way to learn it, if you're not going to get the sheet music, is just to watch how I choreograph both hands and just re-watch it and slow it down. Remember that YouTube lets you slow things down. If you click on the gear icon or if you click on the 3 dots on your phone, you can slow down the video speed and just keep re-watching. So here's what that looks like slowly. 2, 3, 4. That. Now for a nice simple pre-chorus that's 4 bars long. This is very easy compared to what you just did. Let me play it for you. And then you go back to the chorus that you already know. Let me teach this to you. You're going to start with A in your left hand and then G, C, E in the right hand with this rhythm. And they hit together, by the way. Let's do that twice. Next bar, play E in your left hand. And the right hand, play the first chord from the beginning of the song, B, D, E, G. And you do that twice. Now, let's go back to this chord that you just learned. A in the left hand, G, C, E, right hand. But I'm going to use the fingers 1, 2, 4. And hold because I want to imitate the guitar part that goes da 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 da. I think it's cool. So the way you can accomplish that, strike A in the left hand, G, C, E in the right hand together. And while you're doing that, let your pinky migrate to G. And play G, E, C. I'm holding the pedal. That's what's letting everything ring. Now let's go up. So left hand plays a B. And right hand plays A, D, F sharp together. And see my pinky's free. It can now play A, F sharp, D. And now we can move on and play D in the left hand, G, C, E in the right hand together. Now same notes but offset, left, right, like that. And then one more chord, also offset. Left plays a B. right plays A, D sharp, F sharp. Just like that. So all 4 bars. And then right there, you are going to go back to the chorus. You already know. And you guessed it, we're going to go into a verse again. Then we're going to go into that pre-chorus I just taught you a minute ago. One more time. The next thing we're going to play is a chorus. You could just play a normal chorus, but I have to tell you that there is a new part that comes in. Sounds like this. I'm sure you've heard it. Then it goes. So unless you have 3 hands, this is kind of tricky. But you can sacrifice the right hand during the chorus at times in order to get those notes and make it sound okay, even just as one keyboard player. Let me show you how one might do that. So the notes themselves are G, B, D, E, A, with the pedal held down. Then it repeats again, just ending on a G instead of A. Like that. Back to the original. Then end on G. So you see just the ending note changes. So how could one do this? Well, you can't play this chord with the right hand if you want to go. Right? Not possible to be in 2 places at once. So maybe you can do this. See how I jumped? It's a little bit tricky, but you can sacrifice this very first chord in the right hand in each phrase and jump up here instead. And then come back down if you choose to do so. Or if you're playing in a band, have somebody else play that line. But I just have to tell you that it's there. Let me play the very ending of the chorus that we just did into the bridge so you can hear how the transition works and hear how the bridge goes. Most of that probably sounded familiar to you. The actual new bridge material is only really 3 measures, and one of those measures is a half bar. It's a 2/4 bar. It's really interesting how this works. Let me try to count it out for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So you can see there's 2 extra beats, 5 and 6, or you can think of it as a 2/4 measure. Doesn't really matter. So let me teach you how it works. Coming out of that last chorus, all you have to do is modify the last chord to this. D in the left hand, C, E, G right hand, C over D. Instead of what it was, which was, right, it was always this. So now land here. C major over D, and right off the bat you want to arpeggiate the right hand notes, roll them like this. G, E, C, G. Again. Now, the next shape you need is A, D, F sharp in the right hand, like that. Left hand, you need a C. But I don't want you to play this as a block chord. Don't go like that. You start with individual rolling arpeggiated notes first, like this. A, F sharp, D, A. Okay? So all of that. Got it? Now, moving on, B in the left hand, A, D, F sharp, which you already have in the right hand. These are offset, left, right. Now move the left hand to E. Right hand is the same, A, D, F sharp. Now familiar chord, D in the left hand, C, E, G right hand. We just did this. B in the left hand, A, D, F sharp again, right hand. So a lot of recycled familiar stuff. Let me play it for you. Roll. Roll. That's the bridge. Make sure you count it correctly. I'll do it again, a bit quicker. Bridge. Right away, we'll go into all kinds of stuff that you already know. The pre-chorus. And we will end with the chorus, which just repeats and fades over and over. You can end it right there on the E minor 7. The recording just fades out, but talk amongst your bandmates and do whatever you want to do. If you're playing it solo, maybe just go and end it there. I think that makes the most sense. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. This is a pretty complicated song, but if you do want to download the sheet music, it is available on Music Notes. I think it could make life a lot easier. All of the right and left hand parts that I just taught, as well as chord symbols, are there. It's clean and the font is nice and big. So that's available if you want it. Anyway, guys, really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you all very soon in the next one.